Yeah, that's great. I think that's probably okay. And I should be able to see the chat here. I really won't know until you guys start commenting, but I think I have found a way to homebrew this to make up for OBS's changes and shortcomings until I get a chance to really build it properly. I think this will work. I need to add that video to this frame over here. Be good. I think that'll work. Boom, boom, boom. I like it. Nice. All right. Let me know if anyone is back here. If anybody's watching, go ahead and add something to the chat just so that I can confirm that this time I will be able to interact with you guys and communicate with you using the screen real estate that I have. Plus, the audio bitrate is screwed up. It says that 160, but it says 0 over there for some reason. There is a problem with the audio in terms of how OBS is configured. I'll have to figure that out later. I think you guys heard me earlier, so I guess I'm not going to worry about it, but I think I might be able to do that there. Make me sort of sit on top of that. Let's just try something. Sandbag Steeplechase. Just a few minutes from now. Sandbag Steeplechase. Few minutes from now. I have a gut I need to get rid of. I think that would require me to eat less, though. I don't like the sound of that. I think I might even be able to make this a bit transparent and kind of see the page behind it. It may look stupid that way. I don't know. I think I could probably do it. I'll try. Let's see here. Filter. Maybe that will work okay. I don't think I'm going to do that there, though. I don't think so. Oh, if anyone's gonna come. Boom. Yeah, he's coming back from an Achilles tear. Pretty terrible injury. I didn't expect him to do very well. Um, I think he should have set the world's strongest man out. Easy for me to say, but um, yeah, Liz and Laws made their predictions yesterday, and that was one of the big areas where I really disagreed. I just didn't think that Trey was going to perform well, not coming back from that injury, especially when we haven't really seen him in any other competitions or do anything. It was like, I don't know. He met with some of the Americans to do some deadlifting recently, and he seemed to be really struggling with some weights that Trey Mitchell just doesn't struggle with. So that alone told me that we were not going to see a very good Trey Mitchell. So anyway, yeah, And then we can go back and forth between the two websites here too. So we want to look at World's Strongest Man, or if we want to look at, I should rename this actually. Rename this thing Strong Man Archives.com. Yeah. We want to go there. We want to go back and forth between that and the World's Strongest Man. We got our two different scenes here with our chats embedded. I think it looks pretty good. I can tweak everything and make everything better for tomorrow, but I think that this is a decent setup for it. It tells the story we need. You get to see my pretty face, which what more could you guys want? And we get to see the chat so you guys can see each other, even if you don't have the little chat thing on your screen at the time. So that'll be nice. It helps me communicate with you guys because OBS has changed the way the chat protocols work. I think this is pretty good. You guys cool with this general layout? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways? Let's see here. What were some of the other areas you disagreed with? Good question. I'd have to go back and watch it again. I do remember what I was watching. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Um, oh, I also thought they were both pretty biased when it came to a specific group. I'll go ahead and scroll down to that group right now. Right here, group 4. I thought they were pretty biased, as expected, really. Liz's predictions with Roundwell, although I thought her predictions were much more likely, given how I thought the guys would actually do. But I also didn't think that her prediction was as much based on how she actually thought Roundwell was going to perform as it was as much as how she wanted Roundwell to perform because, they're best friends. Um, but then uh, with Laws talking about how Evans Nana was going to do, like he had a good chance of winning the group, certainly making the final. Um, I don't. I think he stepped back from the winning thing because I think he was like, it's Evan Singleton's to win or to lose essentially, but Evans Nanas will probably go ahead and make the final. I thought, okay, Laws, that's definitely a homer pick because you train this guy and you work with him, and yeah, that Evans Nana is not making the World's Strongest Man final. At least not in 2024. It's not happening. So I'd have to go back and rewatch the video to remember all of the areas where I was like, I don't think so. But I didn't like what they were talking about Group 4, especially with predictions of Evans Nana, and I thought they thought Trey Mitchell was going to perform better than I thought he was. I didn't think that they were really taking into consideration the severity of his injury, and not only the severity of his injury, but his lack of competition since being injured. Um, so I think they were giving Trey a lot of credit based upon past successes. Um, which makes sense, but I also just didn't think they were counting the injury. Those are the main things that come to mind. There were probably another one or two instances, but off the top of my head, that's where I was really watching their video and scratching my head going, no. Did you watch their video by any chance? Excuse me. I think I need to get something to drink before the results start coming in. Let's do that. We're actually going to do two tests. I'm going to do a test to see if you guys can behave while I'm away from my desk. And then the second test is I'm going to turn the air conditioning on in here. And then I'm going to talk. And I want to see A, do you guys hear the air conditioner in my microphone and my noise blocking software, which should, in theory, block out the sounds of the air conditioner? But B, can you hear me over the air conditioner? So let's do some testing. Be right back. Okay, first things first. Do you guys hear the air conditioner blasting? And then, secondly, do you hear me speaking over the air conditioner? I really wish we could watch the Sandbag Steeplechase. I think it would be a really fun event to watch live. Um, I don't think it would be a fun event to compete in. I think it would suck a whole lot to do. but I do think it would be a lot of fun to watch. I think it's one of those events that is very spectator friendly, but not very athlete friendly. No results, no results. We need some results. Let's just look at my phone while we wait. You know, spreadsheets aren't that much fun when we don't have a bunch of people in here. When we got the loud and rowdy group here, it's a lot more fun. Play off one another, pester each other, make fun of each other, tease one another, slander one another. uh, dun, 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 dun. Sandbag Steeplechase. What do we got here? Any results? Any results? Any results? Any results? Nothing yet. I don't remember if World Strongest Man site auto refreshes or not. I don't think they do. Whoa. Whoa. There's a bunch of stuff from Simon Dean. Also, the chat just got loaded. None of that stuff was there a minute ago. uh, none of that stuff was there. And all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, okay, no one's here, no one's talking. So I don't know what to say. Um, that's funny. That's funny. Um, all right, I'll see. So Simon Dean stopped in, but he's already left us. Uh, it's weird. Uh, Unfortunately, Simon's already left, so I can't tell him good luck or anything. But moving sucks, so hopefully that goes smoothly for him. Uh, yeah, it's probably Terry. Um, I think I think the reason it may not have been updated, I'm not sure, but I think it has something to do with the fact that I might be having some network difficulty, and the page that has that chat window on it may not be updating. I wonder if anyone has said anything since Andrea said, "Wow, LOL." Still no results for the steeplechase. Mm. Oh, I can test and see if that's updated in real time or not. Let me type in that box. I guess it's updated in real time. Seems to be. Planning on doing a stupid thing is covering. What if there was no groups videos? I can't really see because that stupid reaction emoji is covering up your word. I think you're asking if I'm going to do my what if there were no groups? How would people have placed? Uh, is that the question, Banana Hammock? I think that's what you're asking, based on if they're okay. Yeah, probably. I mean, that's one of my favorite discussions to have is what if it was just 30 competitors heads up. Yeah, probably so. It's one of my favorite videos to do. It's a fun one to talk about. I may even do it live. I don't know. Um, it's kind of interesting and fun to me. Not only is it fun to discuss and really look at, plus we get to give some guys some shine and some credit who may not get that shine and credit in the group stages. Like we got to give Bobby Thompson a hell of a lot of credit before. Dude couldn't make the finals because of the his lack the stones, but if you looked at it, he was a stud overall. Um, but having said that, it's also one of those that when we talk about, it's not really 100% accurate to say, hey, they would have finished this way if it was all heads up, because we know that some of these guys, they strategize, right? Like, you may not give your best performance if you don't have to give your best performance because you only have to beat the guys who are in your group. You don't have to beat everybody. And so it makes you kind of wonder like, yes, we get to give some shine to the guys who didn't place very high because it looks like they would have done better. But then if everybody was going together, maybe the guys at the top would have pushed themselves harder and so on and so forth. But I still think it's fun. One caveat is the Mitch could have done his deadlifts faster if needed, but all he had to do is beat Checkle. Yeah, we could say that. I mean, we don't really know that. Um, I thought his time was pretty incredible, to be honest. 5 and 36.5 seconds. Uh, if you would have told me that multiple guys were going to get up there and best that, I probably would have said you're nuts. If you'd have said, one guy beats it, I might go, okay. If you would have told me that more than one guy was going to beat it, I would have said no. But that also, your point does stand for sure because it goes to show the power of competition, which is what I was talking about anyway from the heads up. You know, would Adam Bishop have rattled off 5 and 27.17 if Matthew Ragg hadn't did 5 and 30.72? Let's say Adam Bishop was the last in his heat to go, and the best was 5 and 55. Would he have loafed and taken it easy and just settled for a really easy 5 and 50? I mean, not that 5 and 50 is easy, but if you can do 5 and 27.17, it's 5 and 50 is easy. We don't know, but we definitely know there's a lot of strategy, and I think that these guys as athletes, they've all gotten smarter as the sport has evolved. I don't think we saw that much strategy like in the old days of strongman. If we turn the clock back 10, 15 years, 20 years ago, I think most of the guys competed like Evan Singleton back in those days. They were just nuts. And strategy be damned, it was an issue of pride. Give everything you've got in everything that you do, even if it's hard on the body and kills you. Um, and we saw a lot of guys get injured more back then and compete injured because they had to, and just sort of the thing. But I think, as the sport has evolved and prize money has grown, so on and so forth, money is the big talker there, right? These guys have now an incentive to be a lot smarter and wiser in the way that they compete. But I think Evan Singleton would have been a great, 1980s strongman. Loud and boisterous, always on max level, and that showman. Um, yeah. Do we not have any results coming in yet? Come on. Let's refresh. Apparently we don't. Not. We don't not. We do not. We don't not. We don't not. Banana hammock and I are sitting here looking at a spreadsheet by ourselves. I'm a good vocalist. I impress everyone with my ability to never be on key. So, did you guys think that Eddie Williams was going to do as well as he is so far? This was another one actually that I did, much to the chagrin of the banana hammock. Uh, I know he's going to not like this, but I think uh, I think them Laws and Liz also talking about Luke Stoltman winning Group One. Um, I didn't really see that as being very likely. And then if he doesn't win, he could probably finish second because Trey Mitchell is Trey Mitchell. Um, yeah, I know they're good events for Luke. I know Luke has been looking good lately, but as much as people get mad at me for saying this, because I know what fan favorites the Stoltmans are, sort of like the Brian Shaw syndrome when you couldn't give any kind of criticism of Brian Shaw, even when it was legitimate criticism, people don't want to hear it. They like their favorites, and if you're not complimenting them or bragging on them, then you're a hater and you're a jerk. You can't criticize. That's kind of where the Stoltmans are a lot of times. They're very very popular, and so um, Luke is a great strongman. He is a fantastic strongman, but I don't think he is upper echelon. And I didn't see him winning this group. I thought he had a chance to qualify. I still think he has a chance to qualify, but mainly because I thought Trey Mitchell would do what Trey Mitchell was doing, not looking well. If we had a healthy Trey Mitchell there, then I don't think Luke Stoltman has a chance really to qualify in this group. I would not think so, but he could, especially with Trey being hurt, and with I don't. I just don't think that Luke is at that level. I think little brother Tom is. I think that's unquestionable, but I'm not sure that Luke is there anymore. Had to refresh that page manually just to see if there was anything else that I was missing. But anyway, the point of some of that is that if you're going to be someone like me that gives your opinions online publicly, especially live, but if you're going to give your opinions online, you're definitely opening yourself up to people calling you nuts or stupid or crazy or a hater or all of these things. If we don't affirm people's viewpoints and tell them what they want to hear, then you're just a hate monger. I don't know much about Tristan, to be honest. Um, I actually wanted this year because there are a lot of these newer young guys that I don't know much about. I know a lot more about the veterans. This is an exciting time for our sport because there is a lot of young blood coming up, and they're very good, and I like it. Um, but I also don't know as much about them, and now that I'm working a 9 to 5 and have other responsibilities, and I don't just get to do whatever Jason wants to do, I will readily admit I have not been following as closely in 2023 and 2024 as I have in years past. Um, and so I need to get in here and I really need to learn about some of these younger athletes. And I don't know much about Tristan. Part of me kind of wants to fire up, to be honest, some of the profiles here on Strongman Archives and look at some of these guys that I don't know much about while we're waiting for the results to come in. If I do that, you're gonna have to let me know when the results come in because I won't be able to look at the screen and do that at the same time. But So apparently Tristan has been in 3 international competitions and he's won 2 of them. That's not too bad. 3 is a pretty small sample size, but when you've won 2 of them, even if they're not the biggest shows, that's pretty good. 2 national shows, 2 regional shows, no wins at those. These are probably the same. No, I guess not. There we go. 3, 5, 7. They're all here. So in the 2021 Canada's Strongest Man, he placed 5th out of 17. Apparently, that was his first pro event. His second pro event came about a year later in 2022 at the Western Canada Strongest Man. He again finished 5th, but it was in a smaller field of 12. Then he comes back exactly a year later, well, I guess 1 year or 1 day, to that same event, the 2023 Western Canada Strongest Man. And he picks up a second place finish out of 14. So major improvement from July of 22 to July of 23. Major improvement. Then a month later, he shows up at the Shaw Classic, finishes middle of the pack in the amateur competition, the Shaw Open, 7 out of 16. 7 days later, he comes to the Canada Strongest Man, finishes middle of the pack again, 6 out of 12. Then he goes into November at the Magnus for Magnuson Strongman Classic and wins that. And then in April, just a week ago, basically, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, not long ago, less than a month ago, he won the Strongman Champions League. I don't really know the competition that was faced at either of these. So let's take a look at that. Let's see who he bested. All right. So he won with 85. Rongo Keen, Shane Flowers, Vilius, Pavlo, Paul. Okay, there's some good names in here. There's some good names in here. Not everyone's a stud, but there are some good names in there. So he bested some pretty good guys there at the Magnus for Magnuson Strongman Classic. And the SCL Martinique, let's see here. I would say that this was a weaker lineup. But too small of a sample size to really know. Looks like his game has improved in the last 18 months. Out of curiosity, what is the quality of the video like on your side? Specifically, the only live thing is me. The rest of this is just static content, basically. But what's the content of this look like? And I mainly ask because I've got it on the low latency mode. So, in theory and hopes, you guys are hearing me more live than after a mega delay. And it says that does hurt the video quality. But I thought there was a good trade off between more closer to real time and slightly lower video quality versus higher video quality but long delays. Cool. So Luke's group is up now. He's in group 1. See right here. And these results should be trickling in any time. So I I don't know how they're doing the Sandbag Steeplechase. I think it's heads up, but I don't know that. Um, I think they're going 2 at a time, but I could be wrong. They might be going 3 at a time. They might be going all 6. Really doubt it. But they could be going 2 or 3 at a time. They might be making everybody go individually. But I believe what I heard is it's 2 guys at a time. And if it is, he got third place in the last event, he would go in the second heat, if I'm right. So he'd go in the second heat in the Sandbag Steeplechase if they're going two at a time. It has taken a long, long time for these results to come in. We're 36 minutes into the hour now, and we don't have a single result. Is there a weather delay there that I'm not aware of? I might have to fire up those Myrtle Beach cams again and see if it's raining. Oh, I think I'm going to take a look at the weather there just to see. We had a lot of fun battling the weather last year, didn't we? No, weather looks nice and fine to me. I can kind of see what's going on the camera. I mean, I can kind of see that there is a camera. Again, the entire view is obstructed. They did a good job of knowing where that camera was this year, preventing us from seeing anything. Um, but I don't think our problems are weather related. I think it's just world's strongest man being world's strongest man. Here's a good talking point. Here's a good question for you guys. If and when the world's strongest man finally starts to give us live streams, what will be the main thing that we complain about then? Good question, right? Because we know we're humans and we know we're going to complain. And we know that right now the thing that we complain about most is this crap. You're probably right, probably the price. That's where my mind went. What else? Because I'm sure we'll have no shortage of things to complain about. It's what we do really well. The directing, yeah, sure. The pace, right? How the groups are picked, we'll still complain about that. Bias, the list of events, the weights of the implements, stone offs. We'll still complain about stone offs. Yeah, we'll still have plenty to complain about. I guess I shouldn't worry about it. I was going to start complaining that we wouldn't have anything to complain about once they give us a live stream, but we'll still find stuff to complain about. All is well. All is good. I wouldn't know about that. I haven't watched World's Strongest Man on TV in the longest time. I use legal methods to get content between now and then to watch it without the commentary. Um, um, but I haven't watched one of the broadcasts in a long time because it just seems stupid waiting 3 freaking months. Lame, especially when I already know what's happened anyway. You have any idea who the player was? I don't watch it much either, and I'm an American, so that makes me an outcast in my country. But I'm a baseball guy. That's my team sport. I like baseball. I also like hockey a lot. My goodness. There's always one event on day one, always, that's way delayed. It never fails every year. Even without the weather, there was an event, I think 2022, where we waited like an hour and 30 minutes past the scheduled start time for them to get going. If I was a competitor at an event like that, it would absolutely drive me nuts. The teeny tiny shows that no one cares about that I've done, um, they run quick and it's good. Sitting around and waiting for stuff to take place, that's killer. That is just killer. I guess it's good that they have time to recover physically, but mentally, I think it's really bad on you to sit around, especially when you're told to be at such and such time, such and such place at such and such time, and then you get there and you sit around and do nothing. I got top chat now instead of all chat. That didn't change it all though, did it? No, I thought we might be missing something. I am in the state of misery or Missouri. Uh, and yeah, I got a burger. I'm cheap, so I tend to get whatever is on sale, whatever I have a coupon for. I happen to be listing something in the app today for a half off double burger. So I thought, man, I'm really in the mood for a double burger. If they would have had a sale on hot dogs, I probably would have been in the mood for a hot dog. It's half off chicken fingers. Bet your bottom dollar I would have wanted some chicken fingers. So So for you Scottish friends, which seems like I do have a lot of people for some reason that kind of find my stream from Scotland and Ireland. Um, just so you guys know, a couple days ago, I ordered a workout kilt. If it goes well, I'm probably going to get another one or two of them, and I think I'm going to start working out in a kilt at the gym. I think I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to do it once for sure, and depending upon how much heckling I get, and whether or not something goes wrong, horribly wrong and embarrassing, will determine whether I decide, hey, that was nice and I want to do more of it. Uh, and if so, then I'll probably order another. But I did go ahead and order a kilt to work out in. Usually when I go to the gym, I don't wear underwear underneath my workout shorts. So I guess I'll have to wear some underwear with my kilt. Otherwise, squatting will make me either super unpopular at the gym or incredibly popular. But if it makes me incredibly popular, that's probably worse. So the people that work out at my gym, I would not want to appreciate the view. So, yeah, let's refresh the screen again. We still have nothing. Ooh, man. Okay, Sean, banana. First of all, banana hammock. Are you still here? All right. Let me tell you guys about this tattoo idea that I'm thinking about getting, and I want you guys to tell me that it's as horrible of an idea as I think it is. Because in my mind, I feel like it could be a cool tattoo if it was done right, but I also feel like the potential for it to be done right is incredibly small and not likely. But the potential for it to be screwed up is pretty big. So anyway, I'm a big comic book guy, and my favorite character is Spider-Man. My second favorite character, much like the avatar of Jay Smash that you guys see in the Jace Love Strength thing, is Hulk. So I've thought about getting a full sleeve here where my arm kind of looks like Hulk in mid transition. So I don't want to just have my arm tattooed green with veins and muscle structure here, definition galore, but I want to make it look like I'm kind of midway between Bruce Banner and the Hulk, mid transition. And so you can see some of the flesh, regular skin tone leaking through, some of the Hulk color. And I don't want it to look like a tattoo's partially done. I want it to tell the story, but the purpose would be for me to know that I'm not the Hulk, that I'm not where I want to be. But every time I go to the gym, I'm on a mission to continue transforming and reach that next level. Uh oh, you're about to. I think you're about to rip on me when I ask the following question: what's an STH? I guess I'm super duper uncool and stupid because I don't know what an STH is. Oh, yeah, okay. Better to get a motorcycle or something. Okay. Well, I would like a motorcycle, but if you remember, I've talked to you about my leg issues and the fact that my foot doesn't flex. I worry about my ability to shift a motorcycle when my right foot doesn't move. I think I'd have to have a custom um, transmission installed so that I could shift with hand gears or something. Um, I do worry about my ability to ride a motorcycle with my right foot. Come on, give us results. We want results. I don't want TRT. I don't want anything that, as soon as I'm off of it, is likely to change what my body produces on its own naturally. I have thought about looking in, like, because I've never taken anything in my life, um, but I've thought about looking into taking enclomiphene. Um, it's not going to be as effective as TRT while you're on it in terms of giving you 6, 8, 10, 12 times your natural testosterone production. But if you haven't looked into it, in clomiphene, it naturally increases your testosterone production about 2 to 4 times. And the great thing about it is when you come off of it, it hasn't hurt your testosterone production at all. So you'll go back to where you were rather than a reduced level. Um, that's that sounds somewhat attractive to me. I'll put the spelling in the chat, so if you want to look at it, you can. And it's important to search for it this way too, because there's clomiphene and enclomiphene, and my understanding is they're quite a bit different. Um, so so see, he just said clomiphene, which not really the right spelling there. But again, that's the thing. There are two different products. There's clomiphene and enclomiphene. From the research that I've done, enclomiphene is the one that you want because it's the one that's not going to have those side effects, and it's the one that when you come off of it, you're going to go back to your normal production levels. The I don't know that I'm going to do it yet, but if I do, the company that I would probably go through, if you're in the US, do a Google search for Strut Health. I think they, I think you can get it through other countries too. I'm not sure, but I know they service us in the US. Um, I've looked at the costs of a lot of companies out there, and they seem to be by far the most cost effective. So at least from a reputable and legal source. You can get it cheaper, I'm sure, on the black market if you know how to look for that stuff or whatever. But if you want legal prescriptions and things like that, um, that's probably who I'll opt for if I decide to do it. So I haven't yet decided, and I got a couple powerlifting competitions coming up later in the year. I'm finally getting back into competition, um, and I'll be competing in the old man's division. I'll be a master, um, but they could test, and I haven't really looked into what's allowed or what's not allowed, or like if it's not allowed, even if I could pass it, I don't want to do it. Even if it is allowed, though, in some cases you can still be disqualified. Like I know if your testosterone levels have too much, whatever they decide, um, and so basically, I'm still collecting information. I don't know what to do. I may or may not go down that road. I do think that with the research I've done, if I wasn't going to start competing again, um, I'd probably go ahead and take it. I probably would if it was just to feel better and do better at the gym locally just for me. Probably would. But because I'm getting ready to start competing, I really don't want to do anything that's A, going to get me in trouble, B, makes my results at the events disqualified, or C, I just feel like I'm cheating my fellow competitors. So I need to look and see what's okay and what's not okay. Give us some results. I just want results. Can you imagine how much pacing back and forth Evan Singleton is doing right now? He's probably snorting, has smoke coming out of his nostrils, hitting himself in the head, walking back and forth. Can you just imagine what Evan Singleton is doing right now? I wonder if Evan has any smelling salts left. He might have used them all by now. 3, 2, 1. I think I'm gonna be ticked off if I have the schedule wrong. 4 p.m. for the Sandbag Steeplechase. So that's 3 local for me. Yeah, an hour ago. Okay, I didn't have it wrong. Just an hour late, that's all. I guess what would they do if they were running on time? Probably wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Oh, just so that I know that I'm not sitting here and waiting for results that I'm not seeing. When you guys refresh, you're not seeing any kind of results either, right? Another Scott. Like everyone who comes to my channel is from Scotland, I think. I thought about moving there. Sorry, had to flirt with a girl while we were waiting for these results that aren't coming in. Hmm. You know what I could do to make the results come in faster? I could leave the room, and then when I come back, all the results would be there for you guys, because it seems like during events, when I do step away, that's when the results start coming in. It's happened every time so far, so maybe that's what I should do. Just walk away. On the world's strongest man site, and here too. It would have happened if I had walked away right then. All right. So Oscar managed 4, which basically means he got the 2 bags. Um, and then Trey got all 6, 73.92. Now, I'm a bit surprised by that. Because Trey, with the injury, right? Um, Even without the injury, I don't really think of Trey usually as. I guess he's more fit than I give him credit for, because in some of the loading events and speed type events, he does okay. But he doesn't really, he's not like the typical guy you're going to think about that's going to come and do well in one of the athletic events, because, well, he's big Tex. You know, he doesn't look like someone that you would expect to do well in those. Um, so I don't really know how many of these guys will complete it in time, to be honest. He only got 75 seconds, so he didn't have much room to spare here. If we expand this, he's cutting it close. But I'm not sure how many of these guys will complete this course. So I'm gonna give. We've only got 2 guys out of the group, and this is group 1, so I could be wildly wrong. Maybe a lot of these guys will complete it. Maybe it's gonna be much easier than I expect. Um, but as of right now, I'm inclined to give Trey some credit here. For him to for him to complete it, especially after his Achilles injury, I'm pretty impressed by. I don't like counting people out, but candidly, I did not think that Trey was going to complete this. A healthy Trey, I probably would have thought either he still wouldn't do it, because I thought he would have gotten too tired by close to the end of the course, or he would have put in a time like this just under the wire. 6 months after tearing his Achilles, and seeing that he's not back on the deadlift yet, and seeing that he wasn't able to carry the stones very, I would not have. I'm surprised. I don't know how to say it. I'm pretty surprised that he got 6 and all 6 done. So props, good job, Trey. It might make more sense if we see everybody getting up there and completing this course with great times. And maybe the event's just going to be a heck of a lot easier than I thought. It does look like World's Strongest Man is auto refreshing, though. I was curious about that earlier and thought that I had to refresh. Looks like it is auto refreshing, so they got that fixed this year. So I guess with them actually having it on either side, which layout do you guys like better? This one or the one on the Strongman archives? Kind of think I prefer this one, but I'll leave it up to you guys to which screen we should stay parked on more often than not. One Mitch, two Tom, three Bishop. That's that's how you think the World's Strongest Man is going to end. I don't know if I agree with Adam Bishop on the podium. Um, yeah, I don't know if I agree with Adam Bishop on the podium. No, I think your podium is going to be Mitchell Hooper, Tom Stoltman, and Matthew Ragg. I don't know which order two and three will be, but I believe Mitchell Hooper goes back to back and wins the 2024 World's Strongest Man. Um, and then I think Tom Stoltman and Matthew Ragg could be either order, but that's who I think your podium's going to be. All right, so Luke completes it, and Kevin Ferris gets 5 reps. So he gets 5 of the 6 implements. And Luke's time is faster than Trey Mitchell's time. That's good news for Luke. It's good news for Luke. I'll be happy to eat my words. If Luke wins the group, I will be I'll be very happy for him and I'll gladly apologize and eat my words. Unless my screen is wrong and they're just not updating as fast for me as they are for you. Yeah, they're not auto updating on Strongman archives for me like they're supposed to. I think I'm gonna kind of stay parked over here. And I'll flip back and forth on my screen in case I see results on the other site, or if you guys tell me you see other results. But I think I'll keep this one up there so that I can see that, and then I'll spam auto refresh on Strongman archives every 30 to 60 seconds. I will say that if Adam Bishop continues to beat Matthew Ragg throughout the qualifying rounds, um, that'll make your pick look better than mine going into the finals. But but I think when all is said and done, I think Matthew I think Matthew Ragg finishes better than Adam Bishop. I really think I really think it's easy to say Mitchell Hooper wins it. I'm not making any kind of crazy pick by saying that. Doesn't mean he's guaranteed to win. It does. They don't win on, or they don't play these games on paper. You got to compete, right? But I think that's the safe pick. So I'm not making any kind of crazy claim to say that. Since Tom Stoltman hasn't been failed, since Tom Stoltman hasn't not stood on the podium at the World's Strongest Man in forever now. I think that's another safe pick to say, yeah, Tom Stoltman is going to be on your podium. Um, but I do think that third spot is up for grabs for sure. But my pick is Matthew Ragg. I think that is, I think your podium pick there, Penn, is completely defendable. Mitch, Tom, and Evan Singleton. I think that's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with those picks at all. I think if Trey Mitchell was healthy and wasn't coming off of an Achilles tear a few months ago, I'd probably have him on my podium over Matthew Rack. My podium would probably be Mitchell Hooper, Tom Stoltman, Trey Mitchell. So I'd have Mitchell and Mitchell on there. First name Mitchell, last name Mitchell. Um, but that's not the world we live in. Trey was hurt. He's not in top form. He won't be there. but I think you can make arguments for several guys. I can see I can see an argument for Jaco Schoonwinkel. I can see an argument for um, Evan Singleton. I can see an argument for Matthew Ragg. I can see an argument for Adam Bishop. I can see an argument for uh that's probably what I can see. So the guys we just named, plus obviously Mitchell Hooper and Tom Stolman. I think any of those other names that we rattled off could find themselves in the podium. And they could be either second place or third place after Mitchell Hooper. I will accept arguments for any of those guys, provided they qualify and make it to the final. Obviously, if they don't make it to the final, then all of those picks seem really stupid. Okay, we got the results from Strongman Archives for all of them now. So here's our places for Group One in the Strongman Steeplechase. Tristan Hoff wins it, picking up his second event win. Luke picks up a second place finish. Very, very, very good for Luke. Trey finishing it. So three guys finished it, one of which was Trey. So props to Trey, like I said. Then Eddie Williams gets the fastest, barely above Kevin Ferris for most in 5. So he only picks up 3 points here. That drops him back, lets Luke pick up some major points. Those 2 points are very important. So when we look at Group 1 now, we see that Tristan is on top by himself, and there's a two-way tie between Luke Stoltman and Eddie Williams. So Group 1's looking pretty meaty and pretty competitive right now. Any thoughts or surprises there for you guys? I wish we could sort this. They don't allow you to sort them on this. That's the one big glaring weakness I have with World's Strongest Man site. So again, Tristan Hoff picks up his event win in the Sandbag Steeplechase. Luke Stoltman 5 points. Trey Mitchell 4 points. Eddie Williams 3 points. Kevin Ferris 2 points. And Oskar Zilkowski with a single point, which is what he has gotten in all rounds so far. He's picked up a sixth place, a sixth place, and a sixth place. I do hope that they get Group 2 going a little bit quicker and they roll right into it rather than making us sit here for a prolonged period of time. Does anybody in this group beat Mitchell Hooper in this event? So Tristan Hoff, he was your event winner. Then Luke Stoltman picked up a valuable second place finish here with Eddie Williams getting a fourth place finish in the event. So that allowed Luke to pick up 2 points on Eddie. And that was important and big. So this event really changed a lot. It allowed Tristan to hop to the top of the board, and it allowed Luke to climb into a tie with Eddie Williams. So Eddie loses the lead, Tristan takes the lead, and Luke ties Eddie for second. Kevin Ferris, 2 points. Trey Mitchell actually managed a third. That really helped Luke as well because it put a little space between him and Eddie there, which allowed him to catch Eddie. And then Oscar got his single point there, which seems like he's pretty steady in contention for picking up a single point each time through. I need to go tinkle. So, see you in a minute. Let's see if there's anything to catch up on. Not really. Okay. I do think that's an interesting thing that happens. Kind of just like we talked about earlier. If there were no groups, how would people compete? Would they compete with a different mindset than just doing enough to win their groups or score enough points, whatever? Um, People who are competitive minded, it helps to have someone pushing you. It helps to have someone inspiring you and showing you what's possible and making you reach further. And that's where I do think that Mitchell Hooper's success is going to really push Canadian strongmen to the next level. Kind of building on what some of the Canadian strongmen have done in the past, not being able to reach that brass ring, so to speak, though. Um, with Mitchell doing that, I think it's going to be a big inspiration to a lot of Canadian athletes, specifically Canadian strength athletes, and really fuel them into what they can do and what is possible. And we'll probably see some rivals rise up. I think it's pretty natural when a countryman achieves a level of success for his countrymen to be inspired by that and really push themselves a little bit harder. I got a game of chess going on right now as well. Hmm. All right. So Nicholas Camby got 0 in 75 seconds. So I think we all know what that means. 0 in 75 seconds means he didn't do the event. And then Spencer got 5 in 66. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that if Nicholas didn't get any, it means he didn't do the event. So we might be seeing some sort of injury report there in a moment or something. I don't know. I think I think JF is always going to have that special place in everyone's hearts, uh, and kind of still the name that comes to mind when I think of Canadian strongman. I say kind of because I guess now Mitchell Hooper is the name that comes to mind. Not just when I think of Canadian strongman, but when I think of strongman right now. But since he's Canadian, I guess that's the name that comes to mind with Canadian strongman too. But but yeah, I think that Canada has long enjoyed some really strong athletes and some guys who are super competitive. Just never quite been able to capture the big one, and that's obviously no longer the case. That's definitely no longer the case. Ooh, excuse me. So, banana hammock. I think I'm actually gonna do. I think I did this last year. Whether I did or I didn't, I think I'm gonna do it this year. I think I'm actually go back to that video of if there were no groups. I think I'm gonna do one for each day. I think I'm gonna do what if there were no groups through day one, and then what if there were no groups day two, and at the end of day two, um, we'll look at both days combined cumulatively. So I think there'll be two videos. I think I did that last year. Ooh. What if they've made it easier to export the data from Strongman archives this year to make it easier to steal? I don't want to spend a lot of prep time. It was killer on me last year doing all that on the fly. What Mitchell Hooper has done in his short time in the sport is nothing short of mind boggling. I'm kind of a traditionalist and old school. I follow it, and you guys know that. When he got invited to the World's Strongest Man in 2022, kind of bothered me. It's like, who the hell is this guy? He's never competed in an international competition before. He just started the freaking sport. He's a marathon runner for freaking out loud. Oh, he's got some viral videos. If those things, as if those things can't be doctored or tell the story you want to. Give me a break. What's this guy doing coming to World's Strongest Man? I don't care about COVID. Get out of my face with that. This kid doesn't deserve to be there. And then his first event, he goes out there and smokes the crowd, smokes the crowd and wins overall in the first event, where he would have gotten full points if it had been heads up against everyone. Um, and then just continues to do well. Yeah, he faltered on day two, and it was more about static strength, and he wasn't really there yet. But you know, to win his group outright, never having been there or competed, remarkable. His first performance was inspiring and amazing, and it's been the letdown of his entire career. So it's kind of crazy. I also think that one of the things, like some people talk about Mitchell having a big ego, and I think all of these guys have to have a big ego. I think all professional athletes have to have somewhat of an ego. You don't compete unless you have undying self belief. You have to have a bit of an ego. But when people talk about that about Mitchell, I actually see him as being incredibly humble, and I actually don't think that he realizes how difficult this sport is, or what a phenom he is, and how unbelievable. I think because it comes so easy to him, he tricks himself into believing that it's kind of easy. And what I mean by that is you watch some of the videos where he talks about what if these guys had competed in strongman, how would they have done? He always seems to think that these guys that he's reviewing would do way better in strongman competitions than I think they would. He gives them tremendous credit. If this guy was competing, yeah, I think they could win. In spite of the fact that they have never competed in strongman, they've got an Instagram account, so they could probably win World's Strongest Man. This guy's a bodybuilder who's never competed in a strongman competition. Yeah, he could probably win. Um, I think it has been so easy to him that he comes off as being humble and believing, well, if I did it, anyone can do it. No, Mitch, just because you did it doesn't mean that anyone can do it. What you're doing is unbelievable, and it's okay to give yourself some credit, sir. Do a refresh on both sites. There we go. We got some information on Strongman archives coming in, some more results. So Andre Fachu, first one to complete the Sandbag Steeplechase in Group 2. And then Gav Bilton manages 3 and 34-32. So what this means is with the way that Gav is doing, either he's not in top form or he's doing about the way I actually thought Gav would do. But I also thought that this would be a really, really tough event for Gav anyway, regardless of what kind of shape he's in. Normal shape, a little bit less, or best shape of his career. I really thought that this would be a super incredibly bad event, and a super incredibly tough event for Gav Bilton. Just not built for an event like this. Let's see, we got some more results over here. We do. I'm coming at Strongman Archives as well, or worldstrongestman.com. That's the worldstrongestman.com. Worldstrongestman.com. Go somewhere else. Um, so now we get to see the young phenom Mitchell Hooper squaring up one on one against the new young phenom Austin Andrade, the world's strongest Latino. Let's check and see if I have any flirting that I need to do real quick. No flirting that I need to do. Uh oh. Wonder if that means the young lady is losing interest. That's not good. Do another refresh, refresh, refresh. All I really want is I don't want any of the front runners this year or any of that group of 5 or 6 guys that I think can be there competitive. I just don't want any of them to get hurt. I want them to stay healthy and I want the results to shake out the way that they shake out. And hopefully we can see them, everybody competing healthy and at their best so we don't have to wonder what if or anything like that. I hate that. Okay, we got some results again on the other site. We'll go back there. Everybody has gone. So it shakes out this way. Mitchell Hooper gets your first place finish in the Sandbag Steeplechase. I expected as much. Completes all 6 in under a minute. Um, yep, fastest time by far so far. Matter of fact, Andre in second would have won Group 1, just barely. Um, but Andre Fachu gets second place with 5 points. Austin Andrade manages 5 of the bags in 65 seconds, just slightly faster than Spencer Remick. And then, of course, Gav and Nicholas again, I suspect did not compete. Hopefully, he's took a 0 there and still healthy and can go further. But kind of expecting an injury report. We'll see. Um, anyway, that's your Group 2 Sandbag Steeplechase. So we got results over here that match up, kind of trickle in. There we go. On cue. Yuppie, yuppie, yuppie. 654230. All righty. Now we're going to wait the results of Group 3. We'll go back and do a review and a recap in just a minute. But before we do our recap and review, any surprises there? I have absolutely 0 surprises there. Pretty much shook out the way I would have called that top to bottom. I think I would have got all 6 of those in that order. Um, actually, I might have predicted Nicholas Canby to do better than Gav Bilton. I don't know. I would have gone back and forth in 5th and 6th place there. It's kind of hard to say what Nicholas Canby would do there when he obviously didn't do anything. But yeah, I don't really see any surprising results there off the top of my head. Looks about what I would have expected. Time for group 3 results right now. Maybe? No. Too soon. But I'm getting a bit impatient. Waiting. Waiting. Throw some questions at me. Throw some statements. Heckle me. Talk about how stupid my hair looks. How bad my beard is. How much I need a tan. So I should go ahead and scroll down, bring up group 3 on that site. There we go. That'll help me when I'm flipping back and forth. Doesn't really help very much if the guy's not on there. 18. Okay. Well, let's go back up here. Um, I, I, I guess you're asking how good his stones are because of him not win, but like I think that as long as he finishes in second, he's fine. Again, we had the same discussion last year. There's not a whole lot of guys in the sport that I think are going to win a stone off from the third position. There are some out there. I'm not saying that none do, but it's very few guys that I'm going to pick to win a stone off from that third place position. So as long as he finishes in second, I think he's fine, really. I don't see anyone in that group that coming from that third place position is going to be one of those guys. I'm like, hey, this guy's third place going into the final type guy because he's going to stone off crazy. I don't see anyone in that group doing that. Um, so as long as he finishes where he's at right now in second place position, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Of course, what do I know? I could be wrong. I could clearly and definitely be wrong, but my suspicion is for him and most of the guys in the competition, you want to win your group outright because you want to avoid the stone off. You don't want to have to do it, period. And you guys already know how I feel about the stone off. You know, I detest it. I hate it. I can't stand it for many, many, many reasons. Um, but um, but I feel like if you're gonna have to do it, you want that second place position. You definitely don't want to do the stone off from the third place position. And unless you're one of 4 or 5 men on Earth, I feel like if you're coming from third place position, you're probably not winning the stone off. Probably. If you're going against someone notoriously bad in the stones, maybe. Maybe if you get lucky and your second place finisher is someone who absolutely sucks in stones. And I'm not going to say any names. I think we can all think of a couple guys, and I'm going to be respectful and not use their names here. But unless you're one of the 4 or 5 competitors in my head that just aren't good at stones, period, um, unless they're in second place, you don't want to be in third place. I don't even think it should be reserved for situations where there's a point between second and third. I think the only time we should do a stone off, which even then I don't think we should do a stone off. Well, I'd be okay with a stone off in that. I'd be okay for any kind of tiebreaker scenario. Choose any event you want. But essentially, the only type of thing I'm thinking for a stone off is when if you have a clear first place winner, they move on. If you have a clear second place winner in your group, they move on. There is no third place catching up. The only time I'm doing it is if you have a 3-way tie or someone in the lead and then 2 guys tied for second and third. Unless there's a tie, I don't see any reason to make people compete. They earned their way. They've already earned their path to the final, in my opinion, by outperforming their competitors in the previous events. It's almost like making them re earn what they have already earned. And I think it's stupid and completely unfair. Um, and it basically makes it so that the guys who are already the best are also the most well rested going into the final. They're already the guys who who are most likely to win, now they have an advantage of being recovered more than the underdogs that people like to root for. Now the underdogs are supreme underdogs. So for me, I don't want to see any stone offs or any other events unless there's a tie. If someone gets 24 points for first place and someone gets 23 points for second place and someone has 22 and a half points for third place, I'm sorry, you lost. That half point is not good enough. Go watch the finals from your home. If you wanted to be in the finals, you should have got 23 and a half points instead of 22 and a half. You got beat. That's how I feel. I guess if I was doing one of these competitions, here's probably what I would do. I would kind of do a stone off, but I wouldn't be a stone off. It would be another event, and it would only again be reserved for tie situations. But I would have like 3 or 4 events that are going to be the tiebreaker events, the sudden death events, the elimination events, whatever you want to call them. They're just alternate events used strictly for a tie. And in the rare instance where some guys have a tie, the people who go out there and have a tie treat it almost like an NFL kickoff or something like that. Someone flips a coin and calls it. When they call it, they don't get to they don't get to call the event. You don't get that kind of advantage. By winning the coin toss, all you get is the ability to reach in or draw the little thing from the little uh, funnel that's going to tell you, and it's going to tell you what event you're competing in. So you have no advantage in saying, "Well, I'm better at this than this guy, so I'm choosing it." But you get to flip the coin, or you get to draw the little token out of the cup, or whatever it may be, and that will determine your fate. Completely randomized. Now, neither of you have any advantage. You better be ready to compete, and the fans get to be treated to something that they weren't expecting. The athletes can't be that prepared for it because they don't know what event they're going into. Now you got to perform. Now you got to earn your spot. I think that's the only time we need to do some sort of stone off, aka some sort of challenge to see who moves on or who gets on the podium or whatever. Have some way to settle ties, and I love the idea of random events to settle those ties. It means you better be well rounded. You need to be well rounded because you don't know what you're competing in. And the crowd is going to find it suspenseful. The athletes are going to have to work hard and come in incredibly great shape. And no one has an advantage over their competitors by knowing, hey, all I really need to train at and be good at is this one freaking event. As long as I'm good at that, because that's how it is with stones, basically. As long as you know you're good at stones, you have a pretty good advantage competing in strongman these days. No, I want to know who's the best of the best. I want to know who's the strongest. And one event doesn't determine that you're the strongest man or strongest woman on the earth, strongest woman in the world, strongest man in the world. It takes more than one event to show that. And so I think having that luck of the draw, that random element, keeps things fresh, keeps things alive, and goes to show who's really the best of the best. And again, unless there's a tie, get that crap out of here. All right, we got some results coming in on the other side. So we'll flip over while we wait for that one to reload. All right, I'll do a refresh here. Okay, we got full results coming in Strongman archives as well. So we can look at either of these. Go back here. I see 4, so 3. Okay, so far, no one has completed all 6 in group 3. Uh, Interestingly enough, your guys who were at the surfing at the bottom of the cellar in the place events, they got 5 of the bags at different times here, and the guys who were in 3rd and 4th place, they're going to take up the cellar positions. Thomas Evans only gets 3, Ivers only gets 4, and then Rob Kearney and Paul Dwyer both managed 5 with Paul in a better time. So, little bit of drama and intrigue there. It's going to shake up the bottom of the board anyway. As long as Adam Bishop and Matthew Ragg finish it, it really puts them in a commanding position, puts both of them in a very nice position moving on. And if either of them doesn't finish, then there's a lot of intrigue here. It could really shake things up for everyone except Adam Bishop. Adam Bishop has to do terrible here to really fall below 2nd place. He'd have to do pretty bad to fall to 2nd, but he'd have to do disastrous to fall past 2nd. Check the other site just in case. When these results start coming in, it can get kind of difficult to see who's reporting first. All right, where we at? Where we at? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Sorry, I got a couple ladies flirting with me, and that I love Strongman. I love Strongman a lot, but girls flirting with me takes precedent over Strongman. So occasionally I ignore the spreadsheet to look at the phone, and I don't apologize for it. Still waiting to see how Matthew Ragg and Adam Bishop do. We wait. Yes, we wait. Here we go. We got some results. Other website so you can see them. All right. Group 3. Matthew Ragg takes it. It's the only one to actually complete the event. Adam Bishop, he gets second. Really more than he needed to do there. Like I said, all he needed to do was not do lousy. A second place for Adam Bishop, it's as good as a first. I mean, obviously, it's not. Literally, it's not as good as a first. But, a second place there, that's a victory for him personally. Keeps him in a great position, keeps him at the top of the leaderboard. Paul gets third place. That's pretty helpful to a lot of these guys. Rob Kearney gets fourth place, and Ivers and Tom Evans at the bottom. So, so when we look at it now, we look at the total points for Group 3. Adam Bishop stays on top, but Matthew Ragg picks up a positional point there. It's only 2 points behind now. Uh, Ivers is in third by himself with 10. Thomas Evans falls back further. Now he's down to 8. And then Paul and Rob are not tied for the bottom position. Paul puts a point between him and Rob is at the bottom of the board. I think that Rob, you guys know that I'm actually a bigger Rob Kearney fan than a lot of people. I think he gets a lot of hate and a lot of flack for things that have nothing to do with Strongman. And I'm not going to get into it. I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think Rob Kearney is a very underrated strongman. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for other reasons. Uh, that being said, I don't think he's top echelon, top flight, but I think he's much better than people give him credit for. I think it's safe to say, in my opinion, he is definitely underperforming. I expected Rob Kearney to do much better with these events this week than he is doing now. Not saying I expected him to be in the final. Thought he had an outside shot. He'd have to be in second place, so I don't see him winning a stone off from the third place at all. And he's one of those guys that can be beat in the second place from the stone off because it's been there before. He actually finished second place in the final or in the qualifiers and didn't go on to the final because he lost a stone off. Um, but um, but I thought he had an outside shot. I thought he'd be in that third or fourth position. I didn't expect to see him at the bottom of his group. So I think that Rob Kearney is underperforming. So that's our group 3. Now we're gonna have to wait for group 4. Or I guess we could go back and do a group 1, 2, and 3 shakedown of the Sandbag Steeplechase. The Lord knows we have plenty of time. They're in no hurry, so it's going to be a while before we get any group 4 results, right? So I guess we might as well go back and take a look at groups 1, 2, and 3 Sandbag Steeplechase. Group 1, Tristan Hoff, Luke Stoltman, Trey Mitchell, Eddie Williams, Kevin Ferris, Oscar Zilakowski. That is going to be your results for group first place through 6th place of group 1. Group 2, Mitchell Hooper, Andre Fachu, Austin Andrade, Spencer Remick, Gav Bilton, Nicholas Camby. I don't know if I should say him since I don't think he actually did the event, but and then group 3, Matthew Ragg, Adam Bishop, Pollard Dwyer, Rob Kearney, Irish Moxellis, Thomas Evans. And that is how your Sandbag Steeplechase has gone thus far. And now we wait for group 4. Let's cuss. Ow. Ugh. My shoulder almost popped out of the socket just from me doing this. Gee whiz. My shoulders are not in good shape. Oh my gosh, they're beat up bad. Dang. I think Pavlo would be a good pick to win this event in most cases. But I'm not convinced that Pavlo is in top form. He's not a world beater deadlifter by any stretch of the imagination. But the fact that he only managed 3 in the deadlift ladder, I'm not super convinced that Pavlo is operating at top form. So I don't know that I would pick him to win. I don't know that I wouldn't. I think that's a normally in most cases a good pick for an event like the Sandbag Steeplechase. I think so. I think it's made for a guy like Pavlo. But based on what I've seen thus far, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We'll see. Um, it's gonna sound weird. I keep picking Evan to win a lot of this stuff. When everyone knows how I feel about him. Uh, but he's doing really well so far, and he to me he would be one of the guys that I would think might be a front runner out of this group in this event. So um, I don't know. Evan may stay on top and increase his lead here. We'll see. We'll see. I think someone like Marcus Crowder could do really well here. I think someone like Evans Nanas could do really well here too. I mean, and let's be honest, if Big Laws is going to have any chance at all of picking well, he really needs Evans Nana to do well here. He needs if Big Laws is going to have any hope at all, he needs Evans Nana to win this event. Um, yeah. Um, so I think he's someone that could do well in an event like this, but Big Laws definitely needs him to for his predictions to look pretty meaty after day one. And I was, I don't know if Pavlo is in top form or not. I don't know if he didn't want to rule him out, but I don't know. It's a really good performance. Not a lot of guys are finishing this. He did, and he did it in under a minute. I think that's the second best time so far. Yeah. Only Mitchell Hooper has done better than that. So, like I said, not a bad pick, man. But I just was a little skeptical that Pavlo's in top form, but maybe he is. And maybe when I say he's just not a world class deadlifter, maybe I'm not being hard enough on him. Um, I think 6 and 57.5 is a bit of a statement. I'm not saying I don't think Evan can match that because I do think Evan can match that. I don't know that Evan will match that. As usual, Evan's biggest adversity and adversary isn't the implements, isn't the weights, isn't the competition. It's Evan Singleton. It's kind of weird. In most events, I feel like in a group of six, almost regardless of who the competition is, I almost feel like Evan Singleton can finish anywhere from first place to sixth place in just about any freaking event. Um, there's no way to know what to bet on with that guy. I'd say about the only thing that's consistent about Evan Singleton is that you can count on him being inconsistent. Guess I should scroll down there. My bad. My bad. Caesar, come here. Caesar. Come here, Caesar. Sort of delayed in getting the second heat going here. Oh man. Yawns. What's up with that? "2024 World's Strongest Man, Group 4 qualifier in the Sandbag Steeplechase." Boom, 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 boom. But so proudly we hailed. Come on, man. There we go. All right. Evans Nana got 5. That puts him in second for the heat so far. And then look at this. Look at this right here. Kane Francis, 4 in 36.23, beating the USA's Marcus Crowder by less than a half of a second. 4 in 36.23 versus 4:36.65. That's pretty darn close. And probably means, unless there's a tie, which is going to be exceedingly unlikely in a timed event, it probably means that Marcus Crowder and Kane Francis are tied with the same number of points after event 3. And now we see this is kind of annoying, guys. Kind of annoying. I really think I got something wrong with my tooth and I don't like it. I think when this event is over, I'm going to go floss. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. This is it right here. This is it. Results. Results. There we go. All right. It's a win for Pavlo. Good pick. And Pavlo gets 6 points for his first event win. Evan picks up another second place finish, the only other man to complete the run. Then Evans Nana, then Kane Francis, then Marcus Crowder, and Rauno brings up the bottom. Not a good run for Rauno, but he was doing so well before. He's still in second in this group. And no one is beating Rauno Heinla if he's in second place. We saw last year what he can do in a stone off against Brian Shaw. There ain't no one in this group, probably ain't no one in any of these groups, with the exception of maybe one man who's going to beat Rauno in a stone off if he's in the second position. And maybe not even that one man, but if Rauno's in third, different story. There's a couple guys that could beat him like Brian did. But as long as he stays in second place, you gotta like his odds. So that was a big fall. Big fall. Last place finish there. But he was doing so well, he's still in second place. But what this does is it gives Evan a huge lead. Group 4 went from being the tightest group where everyone was kind of bunched up to now Evan has a commanding 5-point lead over second place. And then Rauno's in second with 11, Pavlo's in third with 10, and then everybody else is right there. 8, 9, 9. So interesting. Now, as we get to the final group, I'll be back in a moment. I'm gonna go floss, like I said, because there's something in between my teeth that's really driving me crazy. So I'll be back in a moment. Back. Looks like I missed a lot while I was gone. Oh, that looks like it crashed. The heck? That's weird. I have a feeling that when this event is over, someone will be in the lead in group 5. When the standbag when the Sandbag Steeplechase when the Sandbag Steeplechase is finished, I have a feeling that someone will be in the top spot in group 5. All right. Our first result 5 and 65 seconds. 65.76 unofficially for Adam Rostkowski. A lot of the guys aren't even. I knew that a lot of guys wouldn't complete it, or I guess I didn't know. I hypothesized that a lot of guys would not finish this, and it seems like I've been right. Very few have done that, but not even a lot of guys are getting through 5. Lots of folks just getting through 4. Um, so 5 for 65 is probably pretty good. Although I think this is going to be I think this is going to be a pretty good group for this event. Um, yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to be in group 5 to be honest. I wonder how they're gonna do group for the second heat here. Nathan is probably gonna go against Yako since Yako only got 4 points in the last event. So heat two is probably going to be Goldtree versus Schoonwinkle. That'd be my guess. And then Tom Stoltman and Wesley Derwinski in the final heat. Come on. Boom, 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 boom. I think I'm feeling good about what's about to happen here. Yeah, I think I'm feeling good. This is about to go down. Goldtree and Schoonwinkel both complete the event. Better time for Schoonwinkel than Goldtree, but they both complete the event. And now it's up to Wesley Derwinski and Tom Stoltman to see how they fare. And that will be the final event, final athletes, final run of the day, which means soon I will be bidding you all farewell. until I produce the what if there were no groups video. Update. Update. Gonna make it happen. Gonna make it happen right now. If Tom doesn't win the group, he'll be in the final anyway. He's he's one of those guys I mentioned earlier who can win from third and will probably win from third against anyone on earth with the exception of a couple guys who could probably manage to hold out to keep going one more. But I'm not even sure that's true. He might be able to beat anybody from the third position. But I think there's a couple guys. If they're in second, he's third. They could probably hold their position. But he's even in third position. In second position, he's beating everyone on planet Earth. In third position, he's probably still beating 98% of people on planet Earth, or 99.999% of people. And by on Earth, I really mean professional strongmen at the international level of competition.
obviously, against people on Earth, yeah, he's definitely beating 99.9999999%. Um, but um, but even if my name is Tom Stoll, I still don't want to be in a stone off because it just takes so much out of you. It would impact him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going to take something out of you for the final. So you want to avoid that at all costs. And again, I hate the freaking stone off. It's so stupid. It's unfair. It's lame. It's dumb. Let's get rid of it. Um, uh, I'll say this. There we go. Tom wins that. Um, okay, so he gets 6 and 53.69. Super great time. Jaakko Schoenwinkle 6 and 68. Nathan Gultry 6 and 74.95. Just barely making the time. 5/100ths of a second before he would not have completed it. So credit to him for fighting till the bitter end there. Wesley Derwinski 5:57.23. Boskowski in 5:65. And of course, Bobby Thompson had already withdrawn. So I guess we'll do a quick recap of where everybody is after day one at each group on points. And then I'm going to shut this thing down. And shortly, I'll start producing the What If There Were No Groups video. All right. So we're not going to review all of the individual events. I feel like we've done that enough today. So this is just going to be age group total points. Group one, Kristen Hoff is at the top with 15. Tie. And I think we're only going to go through the up to the stone off positions unless the guys in like fourth or fifth are basically right there within 1 point. We're only talking about the guys who are really in contention at this point. Luke Stoltman and Eddie Williams are tied in second place for 14 apiece. In Group 2, as a surprise to absolutely nobody, Mitchell Hooper is on top with 17 and a half points. That means he has the most points of anybody through day one. He's won at least a share of first in all three of the events. If they could have gone more than 40 meters, or I don't know who did it faster or whatever, but if they could have gone more than 40 meters and maybe they could have just agreed to stop, I don't know. But but they both went 40 meters, so he gets 5.5 points. And then he's won everything else on the day. Andre Fachu, almost an equally impressive performance. He's in second place at 14.5. And then Austin Andrade is at 13 for third place. In Group 3, Adam Bishop has 17 points, half a point behind Mitchell Hooper for best day one performance, giving him victories in Webster Stone's deadlift ladder and Sandbag Steeplechase. Matthew Ragg is in second, 15, and Ivers is in third with 10. So these two guys, Bishop and Ragg, are really running away with Group 3. Group 4, we have Evan Singleton at the top of Group 4 with 16 points. A big lead over Rauno Heinle after that last event. Second place all the way 5 points back at 11. Pavlo nipping at the heels there with 10. And then, as I mentioned earlier, everyone else is kind of in striking distance of that third place position. Evans Nana, 8. It's only 2 points back of third. And then Kane Francis and Marcus Crowder are only 1 point back of third. So that's up. Evan is kind of running away with the lead, but then everyone else is sort of still in contention going into day two. And then Group 5, Tom Stoltman and Jaakko Schoenwinkel are at the top here. Tom with 16. He jumps to the top of the leaderboard by way of a win in the last event. Jaakko Schoenwinkel is 1 point behind at 15. Wesley Derwinski in third place at 13. And that's where we're at after day one. If you guys are interested, check my channel later for a video where we'll line up all 30 competitors and see how they would have fared top to bottom, first through 30, if we had gotten rid of all of these crazy groups and they all competed heads up. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow for a live stream as we go through the events. And maybe tomorrow I'll do the entire thing. I don't know. I haven't decided, if we're gonna do a break it up event by event streaming, or if I'm just gonna turn the thing on as I have in years past and just go all out all day long. But we'll see. Jace Man out.